Welcome to 0 Point Reviews with Jeff and Kev. No point is irrelevant. No point can be turned, and there is definitely no point not to revisit these movies. This time we're doing Ghoulies from the 80s. This is a Charles Band early Empire Pictures movie. Kevin, what do you remember about this one? You brought this to my attention. I only kind of remember this from years past.
So this was like this mythical picture that I saw in the rental store one day as a kid.
Mythical. Ooh.
Yeah, like it was this beautiful picture of this little demon baby coming up out of a toilet. And it was the coolest looking thing I'd ever seen. And my parents at this point were fairly loose with me, like letting me watch monster movies because my dad's a horror film.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it. It was the neatest thing I'd ever seen. But this was one of those movies that I very vividly remember seeing the box art and the poster for and being like, I want that one.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. This was a neat flick for me as a kid. For a lot of people as a kid, I think.
Oh, yeah. And I remember like seeing it on the video shelves, and I just never got around to watching it. I want to say my first experience with this movie was on like the USA channel or one of the cable channels. And that seems to be where I remember it the most, is off of the TV, because it's a relatively tame movie just in general. And so I really enjoy that kind of like horrible bad B movie vibes. And this is an early Band picture before Full Moon Pictures really got rolling. And I don't know, I enjoy it. I wouldn't say I love this one. I think I like the second one way better than I like this one, just in a general sense. Yeah. And, you know, my memories are just kind of sketchy of years ago, but I always got a kick out of this. Never owned any VHS or DVD of it, but I do have the brand new MVD Rewind 4K of this movie. It's cool. Pretty dope. Really like it. It's a very good set, and I would totally recommend. So everybody, we got Amazon affiliate links down below. Make sure you click that link if you're interested in buying this movie. Looks great in 4K. So that's a very quick, solid review from us on that. Is like good extras, excellent transfer, and you also get a little mini poster inside of it. And I think you could still get the slip case, which looks like an old like laser disc sort of style case. It's really neat. If I had it over here, I'd definitely show it, but it's somewhere around this room. Oh, that's right over here. I could probably get that in a second.
It's just so barely off camera.
Keep him entertained for a moment. I'm coming.
So I will go to his point saying that Ghoulies 2 was probably a better movie than the first one, but we have to pay homage. The second movie had Royal Dano in it, and that just automatically gives it a little bit extra bonus points.
So 2 sequels with Royal Dano. House 2, Ghoulies 2.
That's
Where's
right.
the trifecta, Kevin? What other sequel did he do?
I don't know. Oh, wait. Creepshow?
Oh, very good. I didn't remember that.
I think he was.
Yeah. And the Blu-ray is not in here, but I got the 4K in here. So
cool.
Just because I was watching it in the other room and I didn't have the 4K player out there. But then it has the very nice poster, which I can show off. So this is for our buddy Eric out there. Sorry we couldn't get you on this video. We will see if we can get you around some other time. But very cool little mini posters. So
I will make us talk about Ghoulies 2 at some point.
Absolutely on that one.
Without zero-pointing too much on that one was just fun because it had the carnival aspect to it. Right. And then they destroyed everything in the carnival, starting with the octopus. They pulled what I like to call the Jesus nut out. That's
oh, Jesus.
as the octopus is spinning around, they pull the nut that disengages all the arms and goes, woohoo! All at once.
It's like a pinwheel.
It was beautiful. Science.
Scientificing on this.
But again, going to your point before, it's even with that being said, the violence, it's not so horrific and gross that it got an R rating. It did not.
No.
Like, its creepiness actually comes from the quality of the puppets and
oh yeah, they're gnarly
for them, and the little extra details that they did by making them look wet. Like, they were just so gross looking. They were awesome.
Fresh from the ether, from Cthulhu. The Ghoulies rise! Malcolm Graves, you be still their evil beating hearts, even from the grave.
Which is funny, because you watch this and you're kind of like, that's where J.K. Rowling got the idea for Harry Potter.
Oh, for Dobby?
No, for Jonathan. Like, totally Harry Potter. The dad was going to kill him at the beginning, couldn't, dies after the fact, and then has to come back and fight his dad in a wizard battle at the end.
Who ends up dying in a different wizard battle with somebody else. Or the both of them succumb to
wizard fights and just like choking each other out. They forgot the password or safe word, whatever it was.
It's Tallahassee, Kevin.
Tallahassee. No, but this was fun. I mean, it kind of rode on the roller skates of the satanic craze of the 70s and 80s.
Oh yeah, it sure did.
Yeah, and that was one of the more fun parts about it, because if you were young, you know your parents were afraid of that shit. They didn't want to let you go do certain things or watch certain things because Satanists were involved somehow.
Exactly.
It was on Donahue, Geraldo, Sally.
Yep.
All that fun shit. Unfortunately, I don't think Ricky Lake ever got Satanists on her show, but whatever.
She was a Satanist. Or was she a sadist? I don't think we talk about that anymore.
No, we're good on that. But no, this was fun because it did ride on those roller skates, and they did it fairly well with as far as like the scenery and the costumes go. The dad, however, was, what's a good word for actors like that? Community theater? Yes, community theater.
At the high end, yes.
He does all these magic words, and then it's like he just goes "Nyah!" at the end of his magic spell, and like fire pops up out of a cauldron, and all I could think of is Donnie Blaze.
Where's Madison? With one Y and two N's, but you don't know where the Y is.
It's not where you think. So I mean that part was fun until they
Chris Angel would have done a better job.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I want to be like fuck him, but yeah, I probably could have done a better job with that. But I'm a pyromaniac and I like doing shit like that.
You would have burned everything down. Let's be real.
So I just said, "You sterno."
It's not kerosene, you dumbass.
So, but then as far as it kind of dumps the Harry Potter theme and then goes into the my parents died, I just inherited this house trope.
Which was all over the 80s, like peanut butter on jelly.
Yeah, basically the same plot to House, both of them.
To about like 30 other movies. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it basically was a thing. Like, I inherited this from somebody I never really was that close with, but they passed away and it's now all mine. Why did they love me so much? We all wish we had inheritances like that.
I don't know, but I totally want to go watch Elvira now instead.
Have at it.
Yeah, and his girlfriend, who's very
Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca was kind of a stick in the mud.
She was so annoying, dude. Oh, I don't know if they did it on purpose, but she just felt like nails on a chalkboard most of the movie for me until she succumbed to his wilds and his powers and was totally obedient.
Yeah, when the character stopped talking, for
Yeah,
the most part.
pretty much.
Because prior to that, she was nagging Jonathan throughout the majority of the film, and I felt really bad for him. It's like, no wonder he's turning to Satan.
Well, the second he's like, I'm going to drop out of college for the quarter, she just went total like mom mode on him. Like, that's disappointing. What do you think you're doing? Yo, some of us would have liked to have had a little break in college or
No
whatever like that.
shit.
It's like, you're not my mom. Get off my ass. We're not even married, bitch.
Yeah, he just inherited this like 3-story house with these huge grounds that he has to clean up.
Yeah, like what the hell is he supposed to do? Just let it sit there and you're like house sitting? No, at some point you got to put the work in for it, or you got to pay to have the work done. It's cheaper to do it yourself, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah, the
If
DIY
anybody's
stuff.
owned a house, they know what the fuck that's all about.
I hate calling my landlord, so I know what that's like.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take care of this spigot. I'll fix this toilet. Yeah, I got this.
We're not going to get to the toilet just yet. But so Rebecca is kind of what sets the whole thing off for this thing or for this movie, because the first thing that she does after nagging Jonathan about how creepy the house is and there's a family cemetery there is throw an 80s party with like the craziest friends that they could possibly find.
It's a total kegger.
Very much so. Starting with this little penis, Toad Boy.
It's Toad Boy.
Yeah, who kind of like had this thing for talking like Gollum and thought it was going to impress ladies. And all I could think of is, why did 80s horror films always have some fuck mook like this? Like Friday the 13th had Shelley in the third movie. This guy, like Charlie in House 2, was cool. He was a crazy fun guy. These guys are fucking idiots that you just can't wait for them to die.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had no love for Toad Boy.
Yeah, he had no game either, but yet he scored like one of the more beautiful women in the movie.
Yeah, Mariska Hargitay. Very young, pre-Freddy's Nightmares Mariska Hargitay.
She was fine in this movie. Everybody got to start somewhere. All these actors you've ever seen, they've all started off in low-budget fare. Not all of them start off in blockbusters.
No, and the thing is her being in movies like this, it just kind of goes to show that her role in SVU was not nepotism by any means at all. Like, we've seen her in plenty of stuff prior to that where she had to like earn her bones as an actor, and she's fucking awesome.
She earned her place in the industry.
I like her more than either of her parents, but she's done more stuff that I've enjoyed than her parents did.
I would agree with that last part, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, so the characters of this party start with these two hemorrhoids, Dick and I don't remember what the other lady's name was. Like,
my name's Dick.
Dick
with a dick.
Dick. That was like the best scene in the whole movie as an adult. Because it was this horrible fucking pickup line about his dick, but you can call me Dick. But he tries to impress them and like pops
with his dick.
Opens the beer with his dick, and for whatever reason, it made Mariska like bust up and break character.
Yeah.
And that was just like the coolest thing ever, because she's supposed to be repulsed by him. But the face that he made when the thing shot everywhere.
It blows.
It blowed.
Something blew.
Yeah, but that beautiful woman is who Toad Boy shacks up with later in the film, albeit very briefly.
Don't get it. I mean, if he had any sort of game and he's like, the ladies know me as Toad Boy because my tongue does all the action. At least it could have been something like that. It was just some stupid ass thing he was just doing.
Yeah,
The
and
stoner guys had more character than that.
so yes, these guys were like my favorite. Where are they?
I
Mike,
like this was fun, yeah.
yeah, like Toad Boy and Mariska are getting killed, and they're laughing because he thinks they're fucking
Or screwing around, or he tickle fight.
Tickle fight. And then he sends him to go get more booze, and the next thing you see is sitting there like this for like 10 seconds, trying to remember what the fuck he was doing. Like they were the best part of this movie for me.
Oh yeah, they gave the movie a little bit more relatability. Like not so much in like the stoner front, but like a couple of goofy idiot guys. They're not like hardcore geeks or anything like that. They just hang out and get high together, like Cheech and Chong. It's like you could
Kinda.
have centered like the franchise kind of around them a little bit, because by the end of the movie you realize like everybody has survived except for like two people.
Yeah, the dad and the fucking groundskeeper.
Yeah. And what's really funny about that, I mean, I know that's jumping ahead a little bit. It just kind of ties in with everything else. Is like the stakes are like nothing when you realize everybody survives.
Yes.
And that's unfortunate because you could have really had something of a true horror movie where there's a body count and it stays like a body count truly. And they even make a comment when Jonathan saves them. He's like, I don't know what I did, but they're alive. It's like, is that literally what the writers wrote for him? Or did he come up with that on the fly because there was a scene missing that he had these kind of powers? And he's probably like, you know what? I'm just going to wing it because we got like one shot to do this. Do it, clip it, cut it, put it in the movie. Let's go to the next scene.
Should we do another one for insurance? No, it's fine.
Insurance ain't going to pay for this shit anyway.
Oh, but it was fun. Yes, it was cheap, but it was fun. Like all the actors involved none of them were shitty at all. At all. They were all fun. And yes, they were the stereotypes of the time. Even to the point that the stoners kind of were, but they were the least of all stereotypical, I think.
Yeah.
Like them living kind of made them less stereotypical. But I think maybe they just wanted to go with the Scooby-Doo ending. I don't know. Or if they wanted to avoid the R rating, having them all stay dead may have like been that factor that gave them the R. That's a guess. I don't know.
Hard R all the way, buddy.
Was the second one R? Because I remember the second one might have had blood. This one did not. Oh, yes, this one did have a little bit of blood on the sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too terrible, actually.
No. Again, the scariest part of this movie is the creatures and how wet they look. And the puppeteers, they did a really good job. I mean, they were kind of like boglins, for lack of a better term. But as a kid, you remember sitting there going like this with your hand, trying to make the boglin make the craziest, creepiest face and growl that you could. And that's kind of what these are, too.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree.
Mm-hmm. And I know puppets are supposed to be fun, but I like them when they scare people and eat people and
knock shit over.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Mr. J is not doing his job in holding up the phone. So, yeah.
Mr. J.
Mr. J.
There's another 0 point behind the scenes.
The Mr. J in this one, Jonathan, total 80s hair, plain old white boy, typical 80s movie. I like how it starts off and he's just like, I'm a normal boy. And about 20 minutes in, I am the Lord Satan. I will bring death upon everybody. Rise, my demons, rise.
Yeah, and then he's making the demons like maybe kill themselves as a sign of worth. I'm like,
Well, then he brings in the midgets.
yes, yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to say that. They're fucking midgets.
Well, they were the more interesting demons as far as like being able to tell the story.
Oh yeah, well they are actually working
who could
against
communicate.
Malcolm anyway, so
Yeah, by the end anyway. Yeah, because they liked Jonathan more because he treated them better, albeit still like slaves.
yep. So
That's
the
what you're
lesser of
supposed
two
to treat them
evils.
like. He at least fed us.
And he gave us real jobs to do, like killing people.
Like
Just
killing people.
saying. And trying to wrangle up a ghoulie to like kill somebody else inside anyway.
That was so fucked up.
I know. Well, they were beating the shit out of that ghoulie for like a good solid minute. I'm like, wow.
They sack it. They sack it like a chicken.
Sack lunch.
People that don't live on farms are like, what does the chicken have to do with this?
Keep watching. Maybe I'll find out.
Yeah. But I love how Jonathan, like at the party, they're like, well, what do you want to do next? You guys want to do a satanic ritual? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, let's do that. I've only seen that in about 100 movies since I was born.
And then again, he has the magic power to start sparks in a pot.
Oh my god.
And he is able to call the demons that way, but
I summon them forth.
Sally forth.
Sally forth, Klaatu Verada necktie.
Yes, nothing was well, no, I guess all the satanic rituals were pretty much given with that much virtuoso.
Yeah, they checked out. We got fact checked on that, so.
Well, I say that it was very Shakespearean.
Oh yeah.
Or community theater. Like it was loud, it was projected, and they wanted to make sure that all the people in the back heard them and saw them doing magic. So, I mean, as far as an actor goes, classically trained, that works if you're on stage. It wasn't really necessary in the movie here.
That's true.
Can we show Malcolm yet? Is it too early?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we see him when he finally comes back.
This scene is really dope, by the way. I actually really like that.
I liked this. Him popping up and screaming really should have been part of like a music video. It looked that neat.
Too bad it wasn't. This wasn't full moon era. They might have done something like that or put it in their Video Zone program, which is a little making of they'd always include on their VHS tapes, which that would have been pretty dope.
Yeah, right. But then we see him as he comes back to life and he's walking through the grounds and he's trying to be like sneaky and he jumps off the top step, down 3 steps, like puts his hands out this way and then does jazz hands like Batman would or Dracula. And I'm just kind of like, wait, zombie jazz hands?
Dem bones, the elbows connected to the...
And he's like this throughout the entire flick. He's got his hands up like this, like
Nosferatu.
He is holding mystique. His titties have mystique.
He should have gotten a bra.
The best picture of him is here when he does get his flesh back because he starts sucking flesh off of all the other victims, I think.
He just likes to suck.
Right? You find out that you hear that he died a horrible, violent death. Like,
doesn't look like it.
Well, all those holes in his face are from bullets. He got shot in the face several times.
Oh, I thought those were just like he was out in the sun too much and got some moles.
Either that, melanoma, Jesus. Or they're wormholes, the big ones crawling out.
The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. They go in sticky and they come out stout.
They do. But he was fun, and I love how he had the green eyes when he finally started having the power. And then when you see Jonathan start having the power, he has the green eyes. Except for they didn't put the contacts in right. I swear to God, this is not one of my doctor ups. The
So
contact
weird with the contacts, man.
is pointing straight up, and the other one's straight ahead.
And it's like that for a few scenes, actually.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was entirely intentional or they just kept shooting that same day with the contacts in like that.
I think so.
Poor guy.
And I'm sure back then those type of contacts hurt like a motherfucker.
They're probably glass ones.
Oh, God.
That's what my dad has. He has the glass contacts, so and he's had them since for almost for as long as I remember.
Wow. I mean, I guess it saves money, but that's I can't do
But
contacts.
back then, these were probably glass.
And yeah, there was a little bit of CG, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. And that was mainly at the beginning with his dad.
Right.
Actually, I think the majority of it was on the dad. I think Jonathan had the contacts most of the time.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I digress.
Yeah. But at least the movie stays pretty well paced out through. It's a very kind of short, quick watch. So if you're kind of if any of our fans are wondering, like, how long is this movie? It's not even like 90 minutes. It's done and gone in like 90 minutes or less. And it's the perfect time. The script moves along just dandy, and then the pacing and the editing on screen works out just fine. If anything, they could have tightened up a few minutes at the beginning. Feels like it dragged out just a tick too long. But, because back when they were putting these on TV, the ideal pacing was about an hour and 25 minutes ish, so that they could buffer out some commercials. One, if you're taking out gore and things like that, it kind of works itself out. But you can also take out like scenes that are really unnecessary. I don't feel like there's too much unnecessary scenes in here, but I do feel like they maybe could have taken a couple minutes out at the beginning of the movie. And I don't mean the first intro. I just think in general.
Oh, yeah. The parking scene, the getting out and looking around scene, the walking into the
picking
house.
up what I'm putting down, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, the things that we talk about on Rift movies, where it's like, okay, do we need to show them park all the way and then get out and walk all the way up the stairs and through the door? Okay, all one shot.
Hey, we got a time quota to maintain. Let's go.
Now, this was also in the time where scenes were also kind of cut for, well, I don't think this one would have been, but say like Halloween, they had extra scenes for when they put it on TV and they had to cut out violence. I don't know
That was
if
more
they
the
did that.
second one. The first one they did after the movie had already been put on TV.
Oh, okay.
Or when it was finally going to TV, they asked him, "Hey, can you shoot a few more scenes?" But it was already after the movie was already done and out in theaters.
Oh, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's still cool.
Especially Halloween Part 2.
Oh, the extra scenes with the not orderly, the EMT.
Yep.
That's right. See, I know shit. I just forget it half the time.
Yeah. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Just not make it the Ghoulies that I wish I've never seen.
Oh, but I like them. And the rat and cat ghoulie were so fun because the closer you get up on them, the slimier, the more slime you see, especially on the rat demon. Around the nose and the snout, it's all mucusy. And it's like he's just draining all over himself. And the cat has eyes that leak. And it's just so gross.
Meow.
Yeah, and later on, that's how he kills people. Like he meows and like lures them, and another demon or he will pop out and bite their faces off. It's amazing. It's fun. I saw a review today that someone was saying Ghoulies is not as good as you remember it. Okay, I don't know what you were expecting, good sir, but nothing back in the 80s is as good as you remember it.
Rose-tinted glasses. We can all look back at movies from back then and be like, I liked it way more back then than I do right now. Sure.
Yeah, but like I still have the same amount of fun watching this movie as an adult as I did as a kid.
Yeah, you just might get different sense of humor now because you actually understand what's going on in the movie with a different set of eyes. Older, more mature eyes can actually appreciate it a little bit differently. It's part of growing up. I mean, it's just the way it goes.
Kinda. And then the oldest that I am now I see the little bits and pieces like where, you know, they're laughing so hard, but they kept it in the scene anyways. You're just kind of like, now I enjoy it for that too.
Oh, yeah.
Before, as a kid, it was just the gore and the monsters, which I didn't even get a goddamn picture of it. The scariest thing in here is the clown that starts pulling its face apart.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So much scarier, I think, than the clown from Poltergeist. And I know people might disagree with that, but watch them again in comparison. This one's a little bit, this one's a little bit more sinister, I think, because you don't get to see what's coming out of it yet. You just know that it's gross and staring at you, and something bigger and uglier than what it already is inside of it staring at you.
Yeah. And I really like the puppetry and how they handled most of the effects for that. Only a couple times do you kind of see like somebody's hand flexing where the mouth is as they're opening the mouths to make them like laugh or whatever. There's only a couple scenes like that. It's like you can clearly tell like that's somebody's hand controlling behind the. You don't see the hand. You just kind of see the movements of like the fingers kind of pushing down.
Yes, it was. Making the lips go.
Yep. Man, these days, if they made this movie, it'd be like all CGI and it would look like shit.
Golly, I would hope not. And I hope they don't do that with the Gremlins reboot or Gremlins 3, if it's going to be called that.
Mogwai.
Yeah, like movies like this absolutely do not need CGI. It should have no place in a horror film like this.
That's
the
true.
Fun in a horror film like this are the practical effects. It always has been. Lon Chaney was scary because he really was a shaggy ass beast.
Pretty much.
Or whatever else he made himself look like.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily get that off of CG movies. Like the Benicio del Toro Wolfman. Not remotely as scary.
Yeah.
A lot more stupid too, but it wasn't remotely as scary.
Said, sir.
They fuck up everything. Goddamn Universal.
Even when they're not really trying, they're still trying too hard.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Well, even this franchise got subjected to a little bit of bouncing around from the studios. Like, first two were by Empire. Then I think it went to Vestron, which is now like Lionsgate.
Oh. Okay, so that's probably why there's not a big old box set, is there?
I could check on that. Vestron, and then the fourth one was called Sintel Films, which was the Jim Wynorski one.
Oh, okay.
The third one, Ghoulies Goes to College, was John Carl Buechler.
I didn't know Jim did the Goes to College movies.
He didn't do Goes to College. He did the fourth one.
Oh, okay. I thought that. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that and ask.
Lucha. So it goes Luca. I'm not going to pronounce the last name because I'm going to screw it up. I'll hell with it. Beroccovici. And then Albert Band did the second one, who is Charles Band's father. And then John Carl Buechler did the third one. And then Jim Wynorski did the fourth one.
Nice. And again, if you aren't following Jim on Facebook, he is hysterical.
He is so funny. Absolutely.
Dude, he corrected me on something the other day, and I felt like such an ass. Like, he was at the same area where they filmed Them, which is like my all-time favorite creature feature.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And I was like, well, make me a sergeant and pass the booze. And he corrected me. He's like, actually, it's charge the booze. I'm like, oh, I've been misquoting that for like 40 fucking years.
You just mad because you just got served.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I'm sure I deserved it for something I said about Chopping Mall at some point. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim. Which that just had its 30th anniversary, 35th,
Something like that. We have an old 0-Point review covering Chopping Mall. Would love everybody to check that one out.
Yeah, we had fun with that one. That's a good horror film.
Yeah, check out our backlog. That was last October, but on our YouTube channel and Rumble, it's on there too.
Mm-hmm. And unlike this movie, has boobies.
Yes, it does.
Speaking of boobies,
The
Dick.
most you get out of this movie with boobies is a negligee, and you barely see anything anyway.
Yeah, and that's where Dick gets like strangled with the dad's tongue.
Yep, he got tongue lashed.
So dad was also non-binary apparently. Like he changed into a woman to tempt Dick and
Kissed
make out
him,
with him.
and yep.
Yeah. I remember that very vividly as a kid, like being scared of blonde ladies for a short period of time after that. if she's too pretty, she's probably a demon, I'm sure.
Well, that was Bobby Breesy.
Yeah, but you know what? The older I got, the fucking more true that got to be.
No king shaming here. But no, Bobby Breesy, fantastic for the little role that she had in this movie. And I really like her in the movie Mausoleum, which I think is a fun little horror movie.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
Probably not since VHS days. But anyway.
Probably.
Oh. This, though, I'm 0-pointing again. So I was going to say the thing I remembered most about this as a kid was one, of course, the toilet bowl.
I was going to say, we might as well just go with the toilet bowl scene. Because if you blink, you miss the fucking scene that actually is what's featured in Kevin's background, is on the Blu-ray and the 4K. Like, quite literally, they must have shot that scene just to get this on the poster.
Yes, as far as I know, they did. And I didn't see this on my DVDs. And I'm fucking shocked because it's like, I very much remember it from the second movie. Like the asshole that fucking buys the carnival gets bit in the ass and taint. But I didn't.
Way to go.
He deserved it. He was a fucking twat waffle. But I want 25 cents every time someone says that. But I very much remembered the lady choking out Dick. I remember
Strangling Dick.
Strangling Dick.
Choking Dick.
But this Dick's glasses is like the most 80s thing I could possibly think of. Like if we were going to show aliens what the 80s were, it was these fucking sunglasses with electronic windshield wipers on them.
He was ready for his facial, everybody.
I don't know why that just stuck out to me as cool as a kid, and I wanted those so bad. Thank God I never found them.
The windshield wiper sunglasses are ridiculous. Some of that stuff is retro these days. It's kind of funny.
Oh, sure. Like, would I wear that to a party? Fuck yes. Would I wear that outside? It's Oregon, maybe.
It fits. It checks out.
Yeah. It's been weathered by Sybil here this winter and spring. It's pretty funny. Like all winter was like spring, and now that we're in spring, it's been nothing but rain.
Spring break time.
Kinda, yes. Spring break time, and my kids are all fucking got 103 fever. So I'm like,
oof, that'll do some damage.
Mm-hmm. No traveling for us.
Yep. 600 feet for everybody.
They could all stay inside the house. I'm out here in the studio. So
good man.
Speaking of outside in the grounds.
Oh no.
The groundskeeper who looked like a prospect miner.
No kidding.
He was a fun character. I really did like him because you could tell that like there was supposed to be a story there that he was very much against Malcolm and had something, the ability to stop Malcolm, and obviously did have the gumption to help save Jonathan.
Right.
The plot gets a little flimsy as to why he's still living there on the grounds and yet raised Jonathan somehow. Yeah, it gets a little
from afar. It felt like.
Yes, it was a long distance uncle and nephew relationship. He was a goofy ass character at the same time, though. Like where he spears the guy in the back, and Malcolm turns around and looks, and instead of like flipping him off or throwing something else or doing another spell, the guy just points his finger at him and starts laughing in the most like over the top way. Yeah, like so over the top. Okay, the best way I could describe the acting in this is if you watch Harley Quinn, the animated series, watch Clayface. Clayface is exactly what the acting is like in this movie for some of the older characters.
Yeah, some movies have a place for it, some don't. Seem to work in this one a lot.
Yes, but like so over dramatic. And when they got to fighting each other, I know we showed this before, but like there were neat scenes where they were zapping each other in the eyes with magic, I guess.
I'm going to take your eye out. No, I'm going to take your eye out. It's like the greatest little cat fight for a wizard fight I've ever seen.
And it was just one eye. Did you notice that?
Yep.
There was one beam, not two. I'm guessing that was a budgetary thing.
Probably. I would say that's safe to assume.
But then he had this moment here of trying to like blast him with magic. Turns out he's Wonder Woman. And had one last shot of magic himself.
Black magic.
Right? I was not entertained.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Just let me find the loop. It'll happen, baby.
So Malcolm doesn't really die splendidly, but I guess it goes out memorably because it was a wizard fight. And again, you don't see very many fights ending with one laser eye shooting another laser eye back and forth.
Yeah.
Did I mention that this movie got what, a 4.5 review? 4.2. 4.2.
Ooh, it dropped. No, I'm kidding.
So
yeah, this isn't one of the better rated Ghoulies movies, but some of the sequels like totally go off the reservation anyway.
Yes, I think 4.2 is a little shitty for this one. I'd say maybe 6.5.
I'd go 5.5.
Fair enough.
But on a fun scale, I'd give it closer to like a 6.5 to a 7 for fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where I'm going at, because it's like there are little things that you could nitpick and critique, like the flimsy plot, the community college fucking overacting.
Oh, yeah.
But how does this movie make you feel? Like, if you want to be completely critical about it, it's going to make you feel assaulted and hurt.
Oh, yeah.
If you just watch this movie as a horror fan, you're probably going to feel giddy, laughter, not so much scared, but you will have fun. This movie will make you feel like you are having fun.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't give it anything below a 5. It's a...
Yeah, I don't see it. We know it's a bad movie. It does it on purpose. You see it clear as day. There's charm to that. It's fun. That's what I grew up enjoying, and so it works for me.
Yes. And this was one of those flicks, and I know Gremlins was very much the same way. It was PG-13, so kids that liked monsters could watch it. And they were gross enough that, so if you were young, it was kind of scary for you in a way, like because you would see that mucus and sweat and grime and blood and whatever else they had on them in your dreams, and it was always unpleasant.
Oh yeah.
I'm reminiscing. I miss the 80s. I so miss the 80s.
Yeah, sometimes it just gets you in the end.
Gets you in the end. In the tank. Tank.
Ain't no tank.
When we do eventually get to part 2, I cannot wait to get a picture of that shot or that scene.
Oh yeah, and eventually we will get to Ghoulies 2. It's considered by many to be the best of the sequels and even better than the original. So eventually we will get to that one this year. Just stay tuned. We got some plans going on, and we'll get it all sorted out soon.
Speaking of which, the third great creature feature of the 80s, that the first one that actually paid homage to this, was Critters. We need to do that one too.
Love Critters. The Critters 2 is so good.
Yes, I was going to say that franchise is very similar to this one in the sense that the second stands out as the best of all of them. The first was much more of the horror film, of course, but the
Pretty
second
typical
one,
horror film, yeah.
Yeah, the second one is where they're like, you know what? We've got a budget. Let's use this son of a bitch.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, and they made a whole bunch of krites, a giant fucking krite ball.
I'll never forget that, actually.
Lynn Shay is in it.
Yep. I really enjoy those movies. I think between, like, say, this franchise and the Critter franchise, I was always just a little bit more Critters, but there's nothing terribly wrong with Ghoulies. It's just a different kind of horror going on. These aren't alien creatures. They're demonic and Satan.
Yeah, and that's more my kind of thing than the sci-fi alien type shit is. But I love Critters. Like, I will never say an unkind word about that. Especially part 2. Deason goes hunting them.
Oh yeah, completely agree.
But this is more. I can't say it's more fun than Critters. It's not zanier. Well, yeah, maybe it is a little bit zanier. Like, it's the first 2 are more the silly 80s teenage kind of movies, teeny bopper type movies. Critters wasn't necessarily. Critters was a movie for an older audience, I think.
Yeah.
Broader.
Somehow I just took to that one more. That's all.
It had the bigger budget, it had better actors. It was just a better done movie.
It's pretty quirky too. So
yes. Anyway, that's good. I don't want to talk about Critters right now. I'm just going to completely 0-point me again.
Well, overall, what do you feel is the legacy of Ghoulies? You think, just the first 2 is fine and the other 2 are just kind of or
I've not seen the other 2. I've not seen the other 2, so I couldn't say.
Neither have I, so I can't even
Yeah, but
if I have seen them, I've only seen bits and pieces, and I would not say I've seen those in any sort of entirety.
I honestly think this is an important film. When it comes to horror films and creature features, this was something that someone did for a very low amount of money, and they made it look very good. Yes,
they had a lot of fun doing it too.
Yes. So, I mean, it wasn't something where you're getting a half-ass performance out of somebody because they're getting a half-ass pay. You got 110% out of all these people, not so much because Charles was paying them fucking a ton of money, but because he was fun to work for.
Oh, yeah.
And they were having fun working together, and you felt that. And you could tell with the puppeteers that they were having fun trying to make the faces that they were making. Exactly. How ghoulish could they make it?
And boy, they had some great design going on. We've already kind of talked about it, but that's probably what stands out most amongst this movie is the creatures themselves.
When it comes to them, I want to say these creatures, these puppets are probably my favorite, above maybe even the gremlins themselves and the krites. Yes, the krites were Chiodos, but this was so simple. Again, it was the simplicity that made it scary looking.
Right.
It was the Foley effects. They didn't need the amount of money that the other ones had. Fuck, the Gremlins were all airbrushed, hand airbrushed, each one of them. This didn't have that budget, but they still made a damn good movie with them.
Oh yeah, that was basically Charles's claim to fame, was he could take a inexpensive idea and do it for even cheaper, and people would enjoy it more than they thought they would.
Yeah, and with no disrespect to Rick Sloan, this is much better than Hobgoblins.
I would agree with that, and I know Rick loves his Hobgoblins.
Yes, and he's very proud of it, and he very well should be. And I can't put anything down about what the Hobgoblins looked like, because Rick found out what they looked like the day that they showed up when they started filming.
Right.
But they don't look as good as these. They're all very uniform. They all look the same. Each one of these are different looking, and there's a few like different gill babies, or the baby looking ghoulies, but there's one rat, there's one cat, there's one bat. I know I just made a Batman reference from the gold commercial, but
the bat
they're real,
and the cat
and the bird.
It's a plane. I'm
Ghoulies. It's wait, what? I can't remember.
Yeah, man, Kevin, like that totally is not so cool.
I know.
Do you speak English?
English. I do think this stands out. This is the least looked back upon puppet movie that I could possibly think of.
I would say
need
so.
To look
Yeah.
at it too.
Yeah.
And I think now that the 4K is coming out, I think that'll be easier for more audiences to get, because this was not available for a good long time after MGM went belly up, because they were the ones that published the first 2 discs.
I want to say they also did a Midnight Madness sort of release for Ghoulies. I seem to remember that, but I don't think I ever bought that or even saw it in stores. But I seem to recall that there was one of those.
I have the one for Killer Clowns. But
Killer Clowns is a fun movie. And they got a video game coming out. Do you think Ghoulies would work well as a video game or not really? Super.
No, probably not. I mean, not in that regard. Killer Clowns is going to be a 1-on-4 type of game.
Yeah, asymmetrical horror.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I play Ghostbusters, made by the same company or the same publisher, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
This would have to be a different type. I'm not sure how it would go. Maybe like Maniac Mansion, point and click and RPG.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do. It just sounds like could be a nice little indie game if somebody wanted to do like a little homage to Ghoulies. Just call it something else.
Dude, they made a fucking VR game of Exorcist, and it was amazing. There was not a whole lot to it, but they made it.
I remember you telling me about that now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, horror films can be transferred to a game very well. Sometimes it works out amazingly, as we see with Friday the 13th. Other times, not so much. Vampire Hunter D. Just throwing that one out there. Always wanted that game until I actually saw the gameplay of it, and I'm like,
I'm out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spawn was bad enough. I'm not getting fooled again.
No, not at all.
No. So,
have you got any scenes for us that you haven't showed us yet, or?
Yeah, man. So we talked about the super mega happy ending that this ends with. Malcolm goes away. All of his friends come back to life, although, like you said, he doesn't know how he did it.
I just did it. Let's go.
Yeah. The fuck thing is he stops to go back to help his friends. And Rebecca's like, no, she was going to leave all of her friends to fucking die.
Yep,
but
fuck them.
The movie ends with these 3 driving away like, oh, we're so safe now. Freeze frame because the puppets all come up from behind them. And that was 80s. That was so 80s to end on.
So 80s.
So, I mean, it had a great ending. Rocky start, but it had a great second and third act.
When year did that come out? 85? Yeah, 85.
Was it 85?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Ghoulies 2 was 87. For some reason, for the longest time, I always thought this movie came out in 87 and the other one came out in 89, but no.
I thought it was 82. I'm way off. So this didn't really predate Gremlins at all. It was all about the same time.
Wait, I thought Gremlins was 84.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's right then. Yeah, the only other thing I would want to talk about is the music on this movie is actually pretty dope. And it's by Richard Band and Shirley Walker, who is well known for Batman and Space Above and Beyond and a bunch of other wonderful scores and themes. So this is her early days, and I think they did just fine. So a lot of wonderful creative people got started around the Empire days, and they carried on with wonderful careers after it.
Yeah, this is a picture I'm really thankful for because it opened up a whole big door for other puppeteers, for other latex artists. It's just really fun. It gave Mariska Hargitay a great opening to like further her career as one of the best TV actors ever.
Exactly.
And of course, it gave us a sequel that had Royal Dano in it, which is the best of all.
Mr. Dano.
What was he? The Great Fausto? I think that was his name.
I think so.
Yeah. Poor bastard. He made me cry every time. Like he's wanting whiskey and he's just like missing the man he used to be before the bottle. But that's my thoughts on this one.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a fun movie. You just turn your brain off, kick back, relax. That's what this movie is. It's not trying to do anything it's not supposed to be doing. If it was trying to go for award-winning or pure scares, it completely missed the boat on that end. But
yes. You know, this would be if like Ed Wood could make good movies. And Ed Wood did make good movies, but this this has, you know, the cardboard spear, but has other aspects of it like good actors.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. Kevin enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed it. Please put a comment down below if you got any favorite lines, characters, comments, any thoughts. We want to hear about them. And be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification. Stay tuned for all of our videos. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Next up is Alien, 1979.
8, 4, 3, 12,
2, 1. See you all next time. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at SunsAndShadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.